talking about, hiring diversity and all of that is really, it's an amazing thing when you can look out to your colleagues and see faces that, look like you, remind you of people that you know. I'm curious about your philosophy on safe spaces in the office, sort of bring it in context. Where I work, we have a Slack channel. It's a group where all of the women can talk together, share articles, talk about issues that we care about. It's really nice to have that safe space. So kind of wanted to just get your perspective on that.
That's a really good question. I don't think I have a strong perspective on how we have done it. One thing I have noticed just by watching, specifically in Slack, I think this happens a lot. I don't know if it happens in your organizations, but it happens in a few of mine, where you'll set up a safe space, and it'll be like, here's the women's chat. Let's talk about women's things. And then it's just dudes. And you're just kind of like, well, this is not, it's nice to have dudes talk about women's things, like, great, but isn't that what dudes do every day? And I think that the idea of saying, here is a safe space, and saying, it's okay to be exclusive, I think that's important. And I think it's probably complicated for people in power. What is that great quote I showed? Remember that quote I shared with you? It was something like, I'm going to paraphrase this. It is, equality to those who are not used to it looks like oppression. And so this idea that when you have a bunch of white people together and you say, we're all going to be equal, the people of color and the white people are going to be like, what the fuck? This doesn't make sense. I don't want to give out handouts or whatever bullshit they say, Trump. But we'll figure it out.
It was just a matter of time. Thank you. Okay, one final question. Yep.
Hi, I've really appreciated this portion of the program. I am an entrepreneur in that I'm an attorney, and I started my own law firm. So that's a predominantly male industry, but what really spoke to me about what I've heard from you both tonight is the idea of having a business. In the example you gave about having a business and for example, charging women 70% of what men would be charged. And really, I've struggled since I've been in practice about how I could, what message do I care about? What are my core values? What makes me different? And that idea really stood out to me. How would you feel about an industry like mine or finance or any of the other, countless industries of people in the room where it's pretty established already, but introducing a really relevant concept like that?
So that store that I mentioned is my friend Elena. Her Twitter account is @gratuitoustype. So be sure and follow her. It's her idea originally. But I think it sounds awesome, and it's also a really good way to vet your clients, right? Because if someone's like, this is bullshit, you can just be like, cool story, like, hit the road. But in reality, I think that's a good idea. One of the things that Sandee and I were just talking about was this idea of like, what if one of the local colleges said, computer science education is free for people of color or for people who are underrepresented?
Just free.
Just free. Because we all pay a lot of lip service here in Chicago about how we want equality. But we live in Chicago. It's obviously not the case. So how do we change some of that? And I think it takes some drastic measures by saying, maybe 50-50 of my clients, 50% is male, 50% is female, but I'm willing to take less because they make less. And the cool thing about that is your male clients are going to tell that story over and over again. And what that means is that's going to be this nice little call to all the women that what's up, and all the men that are interested, and it'll be attractive. It'll be an advertisement of its own. But that sounds great. Do it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.